Clement and the Lost Forest Bell. Deep in the middle of a beautiful green forest called Emerald Wood, there was a magical place where the sun would shine softly through the leaves, making everything sparkle like golden light dancing in the trees. The air was filled with the gentle sounds of birds singing sweet songs, almost like a lullaby that made the whole forest feel calm and happy. In this peaceful forest lived a cute and curious little bear cub named Clement. Clement had soft, honey-colored fur and big, bright eyes that were always full of wonder. He loved exploring, asking questions, and discovering new things. Everyone in the forest, from the tiniest ants to the tallest deer, loved Clement because he was kind, gentle, and always ready to help. One sunny morning, Clement woke up feeling excited to start his day. But as he looked around, he noticed something was very wrong. The forest bell was missing. This wasn't just any bell. It was a special shimmering crystal bell that hung high in the tallest tree. When the wind blew through it, the bell would make a soft, magical sound. That sound wasn't just beautiful. It kept the forest happy and healthy. It made sure the weather stayed calm, the flowers kept blooming, and all the animals lived in peace. But now, the bell was gone. Without its music, the forest started to change. The wind became loud and scary, making the trees shiver. The flowers, once so colorful and cheerful, began to droop and close up. Even the squirrels, who were always playing and giggling, started frowning and arguing with each other. Something was definitely wrong. Clement felt a flutter in his chest. He didn't know who had taken the bell or where it had gone, but he knew one thing for sure. He had to find it and bring it back. He couldn't let his forest home stay this way. So, the brave little bear cub gave his cozy den one last look and set off into the trees. With determination in his heart and curiosity in his eyes, Clement began his adventure to solve the mystery of the missing forest bell. Clement didn't waste a moment. As soon as he set off on his adventure, he headed straight for a place called Mossy Rock Hill. It was a small, bumpy hill covered in soft green moss that felt like a fuzzy blanket under your paws. Big, round rocks lay scattered around like sleeping giants, and tiny flowers peeked out from between them. As Clement climbed the hill, he noticed something unusual near the base of a large tree. The bark, normally smooth and brown, had been scratched, like someone or something had clawed at it in a hurry. Clement leaned in closer. The marks were fresh. And then, right below the scratches, he saw something that made his eyes widen. Tiny, sparkling bits of glitter, the same kind of glittery dust that came from the magical forest bell. The pieces shimmered like stardust in the morning light. Clement bent down, gave the air a little sniff, and wrinkled his nose. It smells like mint leaves and mushrooms, he said to himself softly. It was a very strange scent, fresh and earthy, almost like tea mixed with the forest floor. But Clement knew exactly what that smell meant. "There's only one place that smells like this," he whispered, eyes lighting up. Shimmering Hollow. Shimmering Hollow was a quiet little glen deep in the forest, filled with glowing plants and soft lights that danced like fireflies. It was also the home of two shy but clever fox twins named Fennel and Fig. They didn't like crowds and mostly kept to themselves, but they were known to know many secrets of the forest. And now, Clement was sure they knew something about the missing bell. He took a deep breath, brushed a bit of moss off his fur, and carefully followed the scent trail toward the hollow, ready for whatever he might find next. Fennel and Fig, the shy little fox twins, came out from behind a tree when they saw Clement. They looked a little scared, but tried to be brave. "We didn't take the bell," Fig said quickly, his tail twitching. "But we did hear something strange last night," he added in a whisper. Voices, coming from the whispering trees. They said something about awakening the heart of the forest. Clement's eyes grew wide. "The whispering trees?" he repeated. "But no one ever goes there." Fennel nodded slowly, his ears twitching nervously. "No one should go there," he whispered, "unless they're trying to hide something." Clement felt a shiver down his back. Something mysterious was definitely going on. That evening, Clement tiptoed into a quiet, forgotten part of the forest. The air was cool and misty, and everything felt still and secret. The tall trees stood like statues, and if you listened very carefully, you could almost hear them whispering softly to each other. Suddenly, a flash of silver light zipped between the trees. Clement's eyes lit up, and he followed it carefully. That's when he saw something amazing. A wise old owl, wrapped in leafy feathers, sitting gently on a low branch. In the owl's wings, he was holding the forest bell. Clement stepped closer and asked kindly, "Who are you?" The owl blinked his golden eyes and said, "I am Eldrick. I used to take care of the forest bell. When I felt its magic growing weak, I took it to keep it safe and try to bring its power back. But I'm afraid I waited too long." Clement looked at the bell. It didn't sparkle anymore. The crystal was dull and had tiny cracks in it. He looked up at Eldrick with hope in his voice. "Can I help?" he asked. Eldrick, the wise old owl, gave a slow, gentle nod. "The bell needs something pure," he said softly. "Something that's given with love, not asked for or taken." Clement thought hard. He didn't have any magic or any special forest power. But then he remembered something very special, something he always had with him. A little pendant made of honeycomb and clover petals. His mother had made it for him on his first birthday. It wasn't fancy or shiny, but it meant a lot to Clement. It reminded him of home, of hugs, of warm honey cakes and cozy naps in their den. He gently took it out and looked at it one last time. "Here," he said softly, placing it carefully on the forest bell. "I want the forest to be happy again." And then, whoosh, a burst of light spread out through the whole grove. It was warm and golden and sparkled like the sun through leaves. The forest bell began to glow again. It shimmered like starlight. And then it rang, not just any sound, but a beautiful, soft song that filled the air like a lullaby. The mist slowly lifted from the ground. The flowers lifted their sleepy heads and started to bloom again. The trees rustled happily and birds began to sing. The whole forest felt like it had just taken a deep, happy breath. Clement came back to the main part of the forest and guess what? Everyone cheered. The animals clapped their paws and hooves and wings. The birds chirped happily. Clement got the biggest, warmest group hug ever. The forest bell was gently rehung in the tallest tree, where it could sing again whenever the wind blew through it. And from that day on, the wind didn't just carry the sound of the bell. It also carried a story about a brave little bear cub who followed clues, helped a magical owl, and saved the forest with something made of love. The tale of Clement, the hero of Emerald Wood.